Hello everyone. This is a cafe interview. I'm the founder of e-communicator.com, Ichiro Machino, and actually this is the very first interview after the COVID pandemic started. So it's quite a historic interview, and today I have lucky enough to have Miss Daria Turkovskaya. Nice to meet you. Thanks very much to come here. Daria, first of all, could you introduce yourself? I mean, briefly about yourself. Can you talk about briefly about yourself?
Okay, my name is Daria Turkovskaya.
Actually, what is the full name of your kind of long name?
Yes, it's Daria Turkovskaya. It's very long. I was born in Ukraine, Kiev, but my nationality is Australian, and I speak Russian, Japanese, and English. And I've been living in Japan for more than 6 years in Sapporo, Hokkaido.
So you said you were born in Ukraine.
Yes.
And actually, I think you had some experience in Ukraine.
Yes.
You lived in near Kiev.
Yes, in Kiev. I was born in Kiev.
Okay. So could you little bit specific about your experience in Kiev when because I understand you left Ukraine. What was the reason?
The reason was in 1986 there was an incident in Ukraine with nuclear power plant. It was called Chernobyl, and it was a nuclear meltdown in one of the plants. So back then I was 6 years old when it happened, and our family was forced to move out of the country. I mean, if we stayed there, we might get very sick. And our family, we chose to move abroad. First, we moved to Mexico and lived there for 2 years. Then to Ishikawa県金沢市for 4 years and a half, and finally Australia, where we became citizens.
That's great.
And got our Australian nationality. So basically, my bringing is mostly in Australia.
Well, actually, we are planning to focus on the her experience in Chernobyl in another segment. So please wait for that too. And so you said you were in actually Japan. Wow.
Yes.
I mean before you came to Japan this time.
Yes. It was when I was 10 years old, so 10 or 11 years old.
So you spent 4 years in Mexico or something?
2 years.
2 years.
In Mexico.
So you can speak Spanish or?
Because there's not much opportunity to speak Spanish. When it comes to speaking, I have to think about it and then say something.
But you can say something.
I can read and write and understand, but when it comes to speaking, because I have not used Spanish in a long time.
But still, you can speak. So then you can speak Russian, English, Japanese, and Spanish too.
Spanish is a bit. It needs polishing and some training.
So after you went to Australia, what happened?
When we arrived to Australia, we we did not speak any English, of course.
Really?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. My mother language is Russian, so I had to learn English from scratch and go to high school and take university exams.
So when you just started learning English, you had a difficulty learning?
Well, it was very, very hard, but because we were surrounded by an English-speaking atmosphere in Australia, kind of had no choice but to take it in. Of course, study a lot, but also interact with people and try to understand as many things as possible very quickly and learn very fast.
So when it was when you were 10 years old, right? You started, learn English.
When I was 15.
Really?
Yes, 15.
Okay. So that's quick. You learned and mastered English kind of quick.
It has to be very fast because the education system, moving countries, it's different in every country. So when we came to Australia from junior high school, second grade, I was in senior high school, second grade. So skipping 2 grades, catching up with the study, and also learning English. It was a lot of work.
Yeah, I'm sure. But how you could overcome the difficulty? You just tried so hard?
I think it's trying very hard to study and also asking as many questions as I could if I did not understand something, and I tried to ask people at school or friends at school to tell me, to teach me things, and of course things about Australian culture too.
So they were quite helpful in that sense.
Yes, very friendly and very helpful. So we were very lucky.
Yeah, I mean that's really great thing about Australia. I think. That's nice to know. And so I think you sometimes before you mentioned you were a professional skater.
Oh yes, that's right. That's right.
So how you started to do that? You mean in Australia you were a professional skater?
I was still continuing with the skating. I started since I was 4 years old in Ukraine.
Back in Ukraine.
Ukraine. And when moving countries in Mexico, it was a bit difficult to continue by just doing,
maybe too hot.
It was too hot and there is no skating rinks. So just on ground training for a while, supervised by parents and physical trainers, and also I did ballet as well to help me a lot.
You did ballet it's kind of traditional way of training, right? Both skating and ballet in the Russian tradition, I guess.
In Russian tradition, yes. So my dream when I was a child was to become a professional.
Really?
Professional
Wow!
ice skater.
Great. But so I think you had a very, very busy schedule, I guess, because according to what you told me, right now, you had to overcome the difficulty of usual study at school, and plus you were practicing or training yourself as a professional skater.
Yes.
Wow.
I think that's what kept me going, though, that drive and wanting to achieve and loving the sport, and also wanting to make a contribution by maybe teaching or becoming a coach. That was the dream.
Yeah, but so what happened? Are you still doing skating?
Skating, I actually chose to decide to formally quit when entered the university to pursue a career
Why?
in psychology for different reasons. And I still enjoy ice skating just for personal pleasure or as a hobby, but I don't take it very, very seriously, because when you become too serious and too perfect, too much of a perfectionism can be not very healthy.
Yeah.
So,
Okay. But so you still sometimes you watch some skating competition events in like Olympic Games.
of course, I
So
follow
really,
it, yes.
how do you see? You are maybe more. You see those athletes from more professional point of view.
Yes, I think these days not only the techniques are also improving, but also coaching styles and things are way different to things how it was back in my days.
Really? In what sense? You give me some example.
Well, to be honest, kids start from a very young age and they get pushed to a very, very, very high levels. Yes, high levels. And of course, that's really great to see. And I think also, like some of the techniques have improved, and I've noticed that the skating shoes are sometimes they're quite different, and I wonder why.
Maybe more like a high tech, sophisticated, technically, maybe sophisticated.
I would say so.
Maybe not. You don't necessarily like it, right?
I don't disagree with it.
So you said that you chose to major at the university. You said psychology.
Psychology and linguistics.
Why did you choose?
Psychology was. I decided that I wanted to help people that experience difficult situations in their lives and to understand why do people sometimes have struggles and why people act a certain way and get some answers. However, doing a degree and practicing was a totally different story. So I kind of deviated from psychology more towards linguistics.
About why linguistics? What was the?
I always enjoyed learning different languages and culture, being exposed to different cultures, living in Mexico and also in Japan when I was very young. So it was very fascinating to try to understand how language and human mind works. And I did some research for postgraduate, and there was some very interesting findings that we had.
Could you give me some example?
Well, for example, a person that speaks one language compared to a person that speaks multiple languages, the way that the brain is wired is actually, research has proved to show that it's a little bit different. The processes that go on in the brain are a little bit different. So I found that really fascinating.
So you speak 3 languages, so your brain should be very unique. No. Could be. That's interesting. And so you said you learned Japanese when you were here in Ishikawa. You learned a little bit of Japanese.
I was a child and I attended international school, so I learned a little bit of Japanese then. But I decided to also pick it back up during the linguistics course at university. So I did a little bit at university, but my main focus was on Russian language and English. And of course, I was very interested in Japanese and Japanese culture, and I did study.
Wow. So after you graduated university, so you went you go on to enter graduate school?
After 4 degrees of mainly focusing on psychology and linguistics, I did postgraduate in translating and interpreting, and also a graduate diploma in education.
So when you said that translation means from between Russian and English?
English, yes, Russian and English, and postgraduate diploma in education focuses on teaching languages other than English and also special education and ESL.
Okay. That's really sound amazing. But so after you graduated, what kind of line were you in? What did you do?
Well, first, after completing major in psychology and linguistics, after 4 years, there's like an internship where you go and practice as a psychologist. And I have tried that, and I found that it kind of I was not ready for that kind of responsibility, and the work was quite, it had a heavy load. So graduate diploma in education came in handy, so I became a teacher.
Teacher of psychology?
Teacher of special education and languages other than English, and also physical education, so phys ed. And I worked at schools. I also did private tuition and helped with family business.
You mentioned family business. It's over your mother?
Yes, my mother, kind of an assistant.
So your mother, what was she doing?
Originally, she's a concert pianist. She's on music education evaluation board of Australia, and she kind of trains teachers or teaching training. She does, and she has her own private studio and practice where students come and they can express themselves in music and piano.
Wow. But according to your story, you have so many different but great backgrounds, so that's really amazing. But so I just wonder why you decided to come to this country again, Japan again.
Well, I had an opportunity when I was in university student, I got a mixed scholarship to go to Japan. But at that time, my dad got very sick and he passed away, so I wasn't ready to go ahead with it. And I always wanted to go back to Japan and make a difference, whether it's teaching English or helping other foreigners after adapting myself. So I decided to come to Sapporo. Well, there were many things leading to that, of course, but I think it was a very, very good decision, and I'm very happy that I'm here.
Wow. Yeah, but so why you didn't go back to Ishikawa instead of Hokkaido, Sapporo?
I had some reasons that I wasn't ready to go back there. So, and the timing, I guess, wasn't really right at the time. And I met a really good friend in Perth who is from Sapporo. And at our house we did homestay programs as well. We had Japanese students or Japanese people come and stay with us. And so one of the students, she was a high school student. She stayed with us for 5 years.
5 years? Really?
In Australia,
Wow.
Perth.
That's a long time.
And she was from Japan, and now she lives in Russia.
Really?
We taught her to speak Russian
I
language.
think so. And
Yes.
so she now can speak Russian too.
Yes, that's right. And
That's
the
great.
friend that I met in Australia, who's from Sapporo, to kind of return the favor because he stayed with our family, I got invited to stay in Sapporo first as a tourist to have a look, and I came here and I loved it.
Oh, okay. You missed the weather, huh?
I think I like the seasons changing.
Oh,
Changing season, and in Australia it's either hot all year round. In winter it's a little bit cold, but nothing compared to Hokkaido. I enjoy it.
Okay.
Yes.
I'm happy to hear that. Okay. Okay, you go ahead, you drink.
I think life in Japan is very interesting and challenging too. And I do enjoy those challenges.
But challenging in what sense?
At first, well, there are obviously cultural differences, and I think lifestyle also, it's completely different to Australia and other countries that I've been to. And
The challenging, of course, culture different. More specifically, what is things you like about Japanese culture, and what you don't, which you don't like about Japanese culture? What is it?
I think the things that I like about Japanese culture is everything is so precise, and people are always on time and always keeping their promises. And
We do?
yes.
Okay.
Yes. I found that really quite admiring. And also the way of life is very structured. What I couldn't understand first was the way of communication. It's not direct. It's kind of sideways, not straightforward, and you have to they call it, read the air or read the atmosphere and kind of guess what the other person might be experiencing and feeling before saying it.
Actually, a friend of mine who was in Russia told me that Russian people kind of have a same kind of tendency. Sometimes not tell you exactly what they mean, but kind of take a round course in Russia.
In Russia.
You don't see that.
Personally, I've never experienced it. Maybe it depends on people and depends which part of Russia they're from.
So I once guessed that maybe Russian people kind of in between Western culture and kind of Japanese Oriental culture. So they don't always tell you exactly what they think. But maybe from your experience, maybe no, that's not true.
From my experience, I think things were quite straightforward. And in Australia, the culture is if you don't tell someone directly what you think or your opinion, it is kind of rude. It's kind of rude if they ask you something and you tell them.
Kind of hiding your opinion or your what you really think. It's okay.
Yeah, it is kind of rude. But in Japan, if you are very straightforward and say exactly what you're thinking, people think, oh, but you're rude.
Oh, okay. That's that problem we really have nowadays. I really think it's really contribute to our problems in political life. For example. So democracy maybe depends on the culture in which people tell you exactly what they think. Probably. So that's my opinion. So yeah. So I think that's a really good point. You pointed out great good points. So but you think you still like this culture and this country?
Yes, I do.
That's really nice.
I do.
Over you.
I do. And while I'm here, I want to do my best to make a contribution by teaching and also cultural exchange and talk to as many people as possible about different opportunities and also challenging things.
Challenging kind of reminds me about this COVID situation. Did you express any difficulty because of this COVID pandemic?
Yes, I did experience. First of all, I cannot go back and visit my family.
Sorry.
I usually go back every year for Christmas and New Year's to spend time together, but since it's been going on, Australia is not accepting even Australian citizens.
That's really strict.
It is very strict when it comes to Corona. Australia is very, especially in Perth, Western Australia, if there is one person with Corona, everything gets locked down.
Yeah, it gave me made the impression quite unlike Australia.
Yes, that's what I thought.
But that's interesting.
Yes, that's why now in Western Australia life is back to normal, like nothing happened because there are no new cases, and if there is just one case, everything just gets locked down and they trace it back.
Yeah, what happened if you break the rule?
Well, you get fined.
Really?
Yes.
How much?
It depends on what conditions you breached. There was an example when this corona started. A mother and a daughter. Mother was teaching the daughter how to drive a car, so they went to drive a car in a parking lot, and they get spotted by authorities, and they got fined
How much was it?
$1,700.
$1,700. That's kind of big.
That's big, so no one dares to break.
They
the
were
rule.
scapegoat, right? Kind of, yeah.
Well,
Wow.
you need to apply for a special permission if you need to go out, and it has to be either for emergency medical purpose or necessities. So you need to apply for a permission to go out when there is a lockdown. Well, I think it's good that it's very strict because now life is back to normal in Perth.
Yeah, and as long as the rule is fair enough, I think that's really good.
Yes.
Yeah. Wow. But anyway, so you can't, go back to your country, this year. That's really horrible.
It's a little bit sad, and I do miss my family very much.
Sure, they miss you a lot too.
Yes, and but now technology, we have things like Skype or Zoom, and we can use that to communicate, and it's for free. Skype is for free if you both have it on both ends.
Yeah, actually that's great.
Yes. I remember before that the international phone calls were so expensive.
Yeah. Only once a year or something, you barely do, international phone call.
Yes.
Wow. So, what else you have? Any difficulty? Any other difficulty about this pandemic?
My workload has decreased dramatically in the first month when it happened. The company I was working for, it was kind of like huge contact, so customers stopped coming. So I was forced to look for another job, which was very hard to find.
So you're still looking for?
No, I'm good now. Last year, finally in October, I found a job after looking for a job for 6 months.
It was so hard, I think, I guess.
Yes.
So, but now it's kind of okay.
It's getting back to slowly. It's building back up to where it was. It will take time, but I think good things or worthwhile things are worth waiting for.
Yeah.
Waiting
That's
for.
true. We have that kind of proverb saying, 核はあざなえる縄のごとし。Good things, bad things comes like some kind of nawa. Nawa is a Japanese tie.
Right.
Yeah, string. Sorry.
Okay. Oh,
So,
interesting.
We have some kind of a proverb like that. We all are having a kind of trouble because of this COVID things. As you said, we hopefully, we are getting back to normal life. In the future, what kind of things you really want to do, or what is your dream in the future?
My dream in the future is to build a solid relationship between, let's say, Perth, Australia, and Japan.
Wow, really?
And well, because of Corona, at the moment it seems like impossible. Get Japanese students to come to Australia, experience the culture, and do homestay at our house.
Wow. So you kind of were, trying to establish kind of some kind of exchange program?
Yes, that's right. That's right. But because of the Corona situation now, it seems like it's
kind of hard.
It's hard. It will, I don't know how many years it might take, but finally.
I really like that idea. So
yes, and
let me help you too.
Oh, thank you. And
I don't know what I can do.
also to promote cross-cultural awareness that there are people from many different cultures and understanding how to interact with people from a diversity of backgrounds is very crucial for human.
I think so too. Yeah. In that sense, Japan lacks, I don't know, sense of diversity. Yeah, people talk about cultural diversity. They want to diverse, culturally, but I sometimes wonder if they are really serious about it.
Oh, okay, yes.
So I think that's a really important thing. So, sorry, maybe I'm tiring you now. So this is the last question, kind of the last question. But what do you think is the best way for Japanese people to learn English? Yeah, this is kind of a big question, so kind of hard to,
Okay. Well, what I found is students need to find learning style that fits for them and not just prepare for exams and study the materials and do the exams and pass them, but have a lot of opportunity to communicate with people from abroad and have opportunities to express themselves in English. If they are there, that would be fantastic.
So that's what you think. We should. So you think we should increase the opportunities for our students to expose themselves to different cultures and different people, actually, or maybe communicating in English, in daily life.
Or to have English time in their daily life as much as possible. It could be, for example, just 15 minutes of they're listening to a song or watching some kind of documentary or reading a book, just to do a little bit by bit, daily, and enjoy it. That's the best way.
I enjoy it.
If you don't enjoy what you're learning, it makes it difficult. So make it as more enjoyable as possible, and just try to speak about their feelings and express themselves and opportunities to do that. I think that they will be increasing from now on, I'm hoping, and I think it will be a good way.
Well, definitely Japanese, including our government, want us, to learn how to communicate in English with people from other cultural backgrounds, but still we don't have a good system to do that. So I think your opinion is really important. So anyway, thank you very much for today. And I don't think I could. I was able to ask her all the questions we wanted to ask, but maybe in the second segment I'll ask her them again. So anyway, thank you very much.
Thank you.